Hi everyone, welcome. We're going to give it a few minutes and let some people join us here for a few moments. My name is Fabie. I am a Redesign with Prima brand ambassador. Today I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how to add a transfer. And again, this is Fabie with Blush and Ivy Design. And so today I wanted to do here's what we're working on today. So today I want to do a transfer on this super cute little table, and it is a I ended up doing like distressing on this one just because it was a little rustic. So keeping with that, I ended up wanting to do this transfer. It is called the Ruby Rose Transfer, and I specifically chose this one because it has all of this yellow in it. You can see here all of these pretty yellow florals. So yeah, but anyway, happy Friday everyone. How's everyone doing today? I'd love to hear where everybody's joining us from today. And so I'm gonna wait a few minutes till a few more people hop on, and then I'll start. But yeah, so how's everyone doing today on this beautiful Friday? I literally just, hi Kiki from Australia. So my husband is joining us today. He will be helping me with any questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to just put it in the chat. I can't see them, I'll be working, but he will read them out if you guys do have any questions. I actually just got back from Big Bear, and I was rushing to get here because I wanted to make sure I was here in time for the live. And so here I am. I made it in time, and I'm so happy. I love being here every Friday with you guys and us working on projects together. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, so today, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be using the Ruby Rose transfer, and I picked this one because it has all of these yellows, which I really love. And so for those of you who have not or are not aware, I am a Redesign with Prima brand ambassador, and the owner and artist over at Blush and Ivy Design. So let's go ahead and start. So I really don't have any specific plans on what I'm going to do with this project here. I am just going to kind of go with the flow, and I'm just going to place these flowers where I feel like they work. What I do love about the new transfers, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, they now come with these grids. So it makes it super easy when you want to cut out like sections. Like for instance, say you wanted to put this in a corner. Before it would be a little tricky to do that because you didn't want the transfer to look kind of odd. But now you can just cut along the lines and it looks great. So there's that. So let me see where I'm going to place these transfers. Okay, let's see. Let me get some. And as I was looking at this, I was thinking, I wonder if I should just do the entire top with transfers. Kind of like a decoupage look, but not really, with doing it with transfers instead. That might be cute. But let's see. All right, so just gonna start cutting. I think I'm gonna start with this guy here. And then I am just going to, since it has the edge here, just gonna line it up with the edge somewhere along here. And so I always like to stress, and I can't stress this enough, make sure that when you are cutting your transfer that you are very careful that the white backing does not come off and that the transfer sticks onto itself, because if this transfer here sticks onto itself, it will ruin the transfer. So you want to be very careful when applying your transfer and removing the backing. So we're going to carefully remove our backing, and then we are going to just add it. Like I said, I don't really have a plan on where I want to place this. This is more of like a rustic piece. So I'll probably end up doing like a wax over this after, but I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow here. And so I'm gonna place that guy there. And so if you've never used a Redesign with Prima transfer, all of the transfers come in a tube, and then they all come with this little wooden stick. And the wooden stick is what you're gonna use to rub the transfer onto the surface. But there's also another tool. Redesign also has a transfer tool, which is very handy. So if you don't necessarily want to use this one, you have this option also. This is really good for getting into like little crevices, little corners, maybe drawers where they have like the border around them, the molding. This is good for getting into those little nooks and crannies. So yeah, has anybody ever been to Big Bear? I literally just got back. It was beautiful up there. I really enjoyed myself. My birthday is tomorrow. So my family surprised me and took me up there, and I really enjoyed it. It was nice to get a little break. But I didn't want to miss this live, so we got back just in time. So what I'm doing now is I am taking my wooden stick and I am rubbing the transfer. I like to start at the top and kind of work my way down, and then kind of lift just to make sure that everything is attaching. And I lift as I go. You want to apply pressure, but you don't want to rub too fast, because you don't want that plastic to flip up under you, and again, the transfer will stick to itself, and then you'll have an issue with ruining the transfer. So just want to make sure that we are taking our time and rubbing the transfer, making sure that it is adhering to the surface. What is everybody working on this weekend? I'd love to know your projects you're working on. I will be finishing up a green chest of drawers that I started on Monday. I actually did a live on that one on Monday, and I'm going to be finishing that one up. And so again, you want to make sure that you're rubbing back and forth. I like to lift as I go just to make sure that the transfer is adhering. And once the transfer is fully transferred onto the surface, you want to go back and make sure that everything is actually attached, like by rubbing on the transfer and making sure that it's all fully attached. You don't want any bubbles or any wrinkles or anything like that. So all right. And so like I said, with this little, it's a little side table. And so I'm gonna do more of like a rustic look for this one. So I'll be distressing it. But I still wanted it to be super pretty and super feminine. So want to add these transfers to it, these florals. So there's that. Let me see if you guys have any questions here. And you can see how pretty that looks.
Somebody said they have friends in Running Springs.
Oh, okay, Running Springs, yeah. That's I think we passed by there, right, husband? All right. Let's continue on. And yeah, so on our way down from Big Bear, we saw a bunch of people traveling up the hill, trying to get up there, but I wish I could give them all like a public service announcement. There's really not very much snow up there. So if you're local to Southern California and we're thinking about going to Big Bear, stay home. The traffic is bad and it's really not worth it. There's not that much snow. It's beautiful, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like to be in traffic. So I am going to take this portion now, and I'm actually going to kind of place it here. Let's see. That'll cross over. All right, I'm going to probably do this. I'm going to bring this guy this way. Well, let's see. Maybe we'll do this one. So again, just cutting the section that I want. Just gonna kind of cut this out here. And yeah, so just very careful once it detaches. Again, you want to make sure that this transfer, the backing doesn't come off, because then the transfer will stick onto itself. So I think I'm going to place this guy here. Yes, that's perfect. And so removing the backing. And I'm going to kind of send this one over the edge just a little bit, just so that we have a little bit of the transfer hanging over, just like so. And then I just like to kind of press down on the transfer just to kind of set it in place. And then I start with the rubbing. So if you're not really sure on where you want your placement to be, don't like put pressure on it, because it'll stick and then you can't get it off. So just make sure that before you press down that's exactly where you want it to be. And then again, just going to take our tool and we're just going to rub back and forth. And so with transfers, once you're done, like for instance this one here that is going to be a high traffic surface, you know, because it is a side table, we want to make sure that we are protecting it. And you can do that either by, you can use a water-based polyurethane, or you can use wax. In this case, I will be using polyurethane. I'll probably do 3 coats just to make sure that it's protected. And you want to make sure that that it dries between coats before applying any additional coats. I really love the way these reds are popping against this mustard color. I'm not sure if the color's coming out correctly on camera, but it is like a really pretty, like muted mustard color. And I've been wanting to do something in mustard for a while, so that's why I painted this guy this color. I haven't done mustard in a while. It's actually such a fun color to do. And like I mentioned, I might do a wax over this, just because this one is rustic. So I might do like a brown wax over this, just to kind of age it a bit. So I don't know yet. I'm gonna see. This is, you'll see like these little nicks. That's why I didn't like really fill these in, because there's really no reason, since it is gonna be like more of like a distressed piece. So I just left everything as is. I did sand the top a bit, but that was not bothering me. So. And again, just take your time, especially when you're going like on little turn, like those little curves, like, you know, when you're, like for instance here, that I'm putting it over the edge, I have to cut this here to make sure that I'm able to bend the this clear plastic so that I can attach the transfer. And so yeah, just very gently and very carefully applying this transfer here to this edge here. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, it's super easy to add a transfer. Just want to apply pressure, but be careful, and then just start lifting your backing as you're going. At least that's how I do it. I mean, if you have a different method that works for you, that's fine too. But I kind of like to see, as I'm pulling the clear plastic, the protective sheet, I'd like to see that the transfer is attaching. How is everybody liking the new releases that were just released today? So many beautiful new transfers that came out today. Lots of molds, there's stencils, there's all sorts of new goodies. I did a trunk in the new transfer called Peaceful Flight, and it is this beautiful like royal blue. It's like flowers and birds. It's really pretty. And I also added a, you guys know I love script stamps or stencils or transfers, so I did the entire piece in the stencil. It's called Butterfly. It's called Butterfly Script is what it's called, and I did the entire trunk in that, and then I added the transfer. I think it came out really pretty. Alright, we're almost done here, guys. Got one more little section here. And I was going to teach you guys today how to do a raised stencil, but I don't know that we'll have any time to do that. And then also, I don't know that I really want a raised stencil on this particular project, but I'm definitely going to plan for that for next week, just because I've been getting a lot of questions about how to do a raised stencil lately, so I definitely want to teach you guys how to do that. It's actually really easy, and you can use the stick and style stencil rollers for that. So there you see how pretty that is, and we're going to make sure that it is fully attached. I felt a little bit of a bubble there, so we just want to make sure that everything is attached because we don't want any issues. Okay, and there we go. We are attached. So how you guys like that? Isn't that pretty? It's nice and bright against that yellow. I think it looks really, really cool. I'm going to go through this really quickly and see if I don't see any questions. Where's everybody joining me from today? I'd love to hear. What's everybody up to? Is there anything in particular you guys would like to see me work on? I'd love ideas also. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to add this one. This guy here. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I'll add this one. And so transfers, you're actually able to layer transfers. So say for instance, like I've already added this transfer, I can add an additional transfer and overlap them, and that's okay. It will still stick. So I'm gonna be kind of overlapping here a little bit. And that's totally okay. You can definitely do that. So I am going to kind of overlap this guy here, like so, just like that. And now I'm pressing down because that's where I want it to go. And then yeah, so then just again the same thing, we're just gonna rub the transfer and just make sure that we're being very careful, but you can see how the transfer is attaching to the existing transfer. There's no issues there. So it's a great way, so in case you didn't, like if you weren't aware, you definitely can overlap or, you know, put one transfer over the other, and that's totally okay. If you're going for more of like a full coverage look, if you will. If you don't want like gaps and stuff. So yeah, and yeah, so it really, really easily just transfers onto the surface, which is really nice. Again, you want to make sure that you have not added any like sealant to your surface before you apply your transfer. So just make sure that you're adding your transfer like after paint, and make sure your paint is fully dry before you add the transfer, because you don't want your paint to lift. So you want to make sure that your surface is fully dry. It's very important. If you go and apply a transfer onto a surface that has not fully dry, it will peel and pull your paint, and you don't want to ruin your piece, and you don't want to ruin the transfer. So yeah, just make sure that you are, I know they're so pretty and they're so fun and you want to hurry up and get to your project, but trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry. And just like that, we have it added. So now I'm just pressing down because I feel a little bubble there. And we're good to go. Yeah, so see, just like that. You can hear where I had some air bubbles there. Just want to make sure you're eliminating those by just rubbing and getting them out of the way. And so I think we'll continue on. Let's see, what else can we add? It's really pretty, but I feel like maybe I want to connect this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see. What do you guys think? I'll do what you guys suggest. Do you guys want me to continue on, connect it, or should we leave it as is? Okay, I'm gonna just add another transfer because that's what it's telling me to do. All right, so let's see here. And like I mentioned earlier, I was thinking about doing like a whole like decoupage type of look to the top of this. So like not having any empty space. But I think that would be really pretty here. I also really like this flower. So let me cut this one out and see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. All right. So again, I'm just cutting my piece that I'm gonna use. Just cutting it and just making sure that when I remove the backing, it's being done gently and the transfer is not adhering onto itself. So maybe we'll connect it this way. Let's see. I think that will work. Maybe to tie them in together or something like this. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'm just pressing down. And then I'm also gonna add a stick and style stencil to the side here. And so let's see if we have enough time to get to that. Once I'm done attaching this one. And so what's everybody's what's everybody's favorite new transfer that was just released? Does anybody have a particular one? Did you know that there was a new release today of transfers? It's actually a bunch of transfers and a lot of new molds. Also stencils, which are my favorite. So yeah, just a bunch of goodies. So yeah, here we go. And so you can see how fast and easy the transfer just adheres to the surface. Alright, let's see. Just get to this corner here. We're almost done. There we go. Alright, so we got that guy on there. And so now it's kind of just like all flowing and it's all stuck together, and I love the way that looks. So what I'm gonna do is I may, you know, I love script text, like script transfers or like stamps or any of that situation. So I might fill in like all of this space with like some stamps. But let's see. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe I may just continue on and do like the whole decoupage look like I was mentioning. So basically I would just come in here and kind of fill it all in. But let's see. I know for sure I want to use this little flower. So I'm going to cut this guy out. Perhaps we'll add that one there. Let's see. If I cut this one out, all right, let's see here. I am going to, maybe I can add this guy here. I think that this will fill in nicely. right, so I'm gonna end up using the grid lines. So these come in handy really well. So I'm gonna use the grid line to cut out the edge here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually kind of press here to create a little, what it does, it kind of creases the paper like so. So then I can just cut that little section out. So now what I'll do is I'll just come on the other side, and you see where that little crease is? Then I'll just kind of come in here and then just kind of follow it along and cut that out. So then now I don't need that because I don't want that little section. So I'm gonna cut that. And now I have this little edge here. And then I'll do the same over here. I'm gonna create that little crease. And then I'll cut it the same way. Actually, let me cut this first. Let me make sure that I know where I want to place it before I do that. So here we go. Okay. All right, so this is how it left the crease on the back, and I'm just gonna follow the crease. Just following the crease all the way to the very end. And so now I can come in here and just do this. And so I'm not going to take it all the way. I think I'm just going to kind of take it here, here. So let me cut that out really quickly and then we'll add that on. So I am just going to kind of maneuver around. And like I said, this one doesn't have to be perfect because like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to do a wax over it, and I do want to kind of have like that whole rustic kind of look to it. So I'm going to cut this way because I don't want that blue flower in there. Just going to kind of follow along. And that's the fun thing about these transfers, that you pretty much can either use them how they're pictured in the tube, or you can just pretty much place them wherever you want. And so that's the fun part of that. You can get creative and do them in any way that you want. So I don't want to cover this, so I'm going to kind of go in here and cut some of these flowers out. So, because I don't want to, this is really pretty, so I don't want to cover that. So I'm just going to cut this out here. Here we go. All right, so now that's better. Okay, so now I can attach it. Okay, perfect. So just that fast, we were able to create our own little makeup of how we want this placed. So it's also really easy, also and convenient if you have a razor blade. You can, once you place it, you can just kind of go with your razor blade and kind of just like cut. With the razor blade, that also makes it easy, so you can do it that way as well. But yeah, so let's see what this looks like once we're done. And so yeah, on this one, I will be adding some wax to the top of this one to age it, because like I mentioned, it is more of a rustic piece. So I'll add some brown wax just to age it a bit, not too much because I don't want to cover the flowers, but just enough to give it like that whole aged look. And I think that'll look really, really good with this. For me, the mustard always feels like a good, like rustic, like a rich rustic color. Nice and gives me farmhouse vibes. So every time I do a mustard piece, I'm like automatically like, I need to do that. This needs to be rustic. So here we go. And I'm almost done. And like I said, the way, as the transfers transfer so easily. It's like super fun just to be creative and just, you know, jazz up your pieces. It's like they're like tattoos. See how pretty that looks? And so here you can see I have some wrinkles, so we just want to go ahead and press them with our, just with your finger. That's what I do. And then you just get the wrinkles out and make sure everything is flat because you don't want any bubbles, because that will, you know, again, that's going to cause your transfer to lift and you don't want that. So I'm almost done here, and then I will show you what it looks like. When I add the wax to my pieces, I do like to add a coat of polyurethane first, because for me it just helps. I feel like the wax just moves easier that way. So if you, or you can use a, you know, clear wax, whatever. But I like to do poly, and then I'll add my my brown wax, or I can even do like a wash over it. A brown wash will work also, just to kind of give it that aged look. So it's just really your choice and what works best for you. So we're almost at the corner here. The corners are a little tricky because they're rounded, so the little wooden stick wants to slip all over the place. So just be careful when you're doing like edges and stuff. You want to make sure you're just going slow. So yeah, that's what that looks like. And I think that's just the right amount. I think it is perfect just like that. I don't think it needs any more. What do you guys think? Let me see, I'm gonna swing you guys around a little bit here. Okay, let's see. Does anybody have any questions? So basically this is just like this really cute little, it's just a little side table. But look at how cute that is. It just adds like so much just by adding the transfer to it. It just gives it like this whole other, just like, yeah, it's a whole other vibe. I feel like it just adds so much just with this, just by adding a transfer. I'm gonna pull it back just a little more so you can see it better. Let's see, maybe I went too far. So just like that, that's a little better. Let me see, I'm gonna try to move you guys here. Try to get the camera to show you guys how cute this looks. So yeah, so it's just a little side table, but now, I mean, this is so cute. Like this could easily be used like on a little porch, maybe outside. You could put it outside, put some plants on it if you want, you know, I don't know, so many possibilities. But I took this really simple, like literally super simple little side table, and now I feel like it is just so different. It's just so unique, and just like the transfer just like makes it pop. So yeah, again, you guys can find me on all social sites under Blush and Ivy Design, and I will see everyone again here on Friday. Next week, I think I'm going to show you guys how to do a raised stencil, because like I mentioned before, I've had a lot of people asking me how to do that. So next week we'll work on that, a raised stencil. So next week I will be here again, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and hopefully next week I won't be as flustered, because today, like I mentioned, I had just gotten here from Big Bear, so I'm like a little a little flustered, but it's okay. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and yeah, I will see you guys next week, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe.